What is the right way to play the G chord?
I've seen this.
This.
This. This.
This.
This. This.
This.
This. And basically unlimited other variations of it. So I would just basically break it down. If you're a complete beginner, then I would recommend learning it this way. So let's zoom in on it and I'll teach you how it looks note for note. So you're going to start off with your middle finger right here. And I place this one first just because when you strum, you usually strum downward with your right hand. And so if you can get that first note down first, then it kind of gives your other fingers a little bit of time to get set up. And especially if you're kind of picking it one note at a time, you can kind of do something like this. And then it gives you a lot of time before you have to plant that high note. So as a beginner, I would definitely recommend starting this way. So once again, you're going to be starting with that G. The G note, it's the root of the chord, and you'll be playing it with your middle finger right there on the 3rd fret, right there close to the fret line, as always. And then you're going to take your pointer finger, and you'll be on the string right below it, in that direction. And you'll be playing right there on the 2nd fret, really close to the fret line. And then the rest of the strings are open. So you'll notice, once again, it's really easy to kind of let that finger get lazy and you're just going to be blocking all the other notes. So with this one, you kind of got to pop your wrist outward like that. Whoop! And it's a little uncomfortable at first. Definitely gets better, I promise. So you pop it out that way. Whoops, that was a bad start. You pop it out that way. And play the chord with a whole bunch of open notes. So once again, you got that middle finger, 3rd fret, down here. And then you got your pointer finger on the 2nd fret, right there. And then you got a whole bunch of open strings. Well, 3 open strings, I guess that's not a whole bunch. And then you're going to take your ring finger and you're going to rest it right there on the 3rd fret on the highest string, or the lowest string, I guess, depending on the direction. It's high in pitch, but it's low in direction. It's low to the ground. So it's going to be right there. Take a second to find that. And then try to keep these fingers evenly planted throughout the whole process. And just strum it a few times. Most of you, I know you feel like you're sticking your wrist out, but you're probably muting a whole bunch of strings, getting something like that. That's totally normal at the beginning. As you start to develop a habit for it, you'll just kind of learn how to keep those strings open so that your own finger isn't getting in the way of the strings in the chord. And eventually you might be able to kind of learn how to like flatten your wrist a little bit more, or I guess round it off a little bit more without having any trouble. But at the beginning, it's usually easiest to just pop that wrist out, give yourself lots of space. So let's talk over some of the other variations that I considered as well. This is usually my go-to right here. And it's actually the exact same thing that you just played, except you're adding the pinky in and moving your ring finger up the string. So you'll be playing that and that instead of the open one. So I like that. It's just a really rich sounding chord. The other trick I see sometimes that people do is they'll play a G chord like this. So remember, you've been playing it like this, and that's how I encourage you to learn it at the beginning. But some people will actually play those same notes, but with a different finger, like that. So the pinky will be on the high note, and then ring finger on the low note, and then middle finger on the other one. So it helps for transitions just between G and C, but with other chords it doesn't really help. So I didn't think it was really worth learning that way, and that means that you'd have to use your pinky, which is always your weakest finger to begin with. So it just didn't seem like a very good idea to me. But if you prefer to learn it that way, then go ahead. So let's just run over the real way, or the best way of playing it, one more time, and then I'll finish it there, and you can jump on to the next video where you can actually start to practice this in context. So again, you have your middle finger right here on the 3rd fret of the E string, and then your 2nd or your pointer finger, will be on the 2nd fret of the A string. And then you've got the 3 open notes right there. And then you've got your ring finger right here, 3rd fret of the high E string. If you don't know the names of the strings yet, that's totally fine. I've got a little quiz that'll help to help you guys to learn. That's it for this video. Be sure to click on to the next one.